guest is someone I truly admire. He's a dedicated father, husband, and humanitarian. He also happens to be the 42nd President of the United States. It's an honor and a privilege to introduce President Bill Clinton. Hi. It's a good song to play for you because you make things better. You actually, you're such a good man. You're really, I mean it. I admire you so much. It's good to have you here. The last time you were on the show, you were in New York when we were in a studio there. But now this is our home. So welcome here.
Yeah, it's your digs are better. You just keep moving on up.
That's right. That's exactly right. And you just keep looking better and better. You look fantastic.
Thank you.
You are, and I'm vegan as well, and I know that you're eating plant-based diet, which is, do you just feel much better?
Oh, yeah. I think, I would say this, particularly if you're older when you start this, first, it's just a good thing to do. It'll be healthier for you, and you put less stress on your cardiovascular system. But if you're older and you've had heart problems like I did, you can go vegan and still get in trouble.
Yeah, yes.
If you eat too much white, like processed carbs.
Right.
It's really, really important because carbs convert to sugar in your body. The main thing is to keep the sugar levels down.
Well, you look fantastic, and there's no way you're eating a lot of sugar because you've lost. How much weight have you lost?
This is the third week in a row where I will weigh less than I did the day I finished high school.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
It's funny.
So let's talk about your amazing wife. Since I saw you, she has become Secretary of State, and you must be so proud of her.
Oh, my God. She's, always gone everywhere.
She's in China right now, right?
Yeah. It was, I went down, our normal routine is we get to spend the weekends together. Mm-hmm. And then if we're both in the country and not traveling, I'll go down and spend a day in Washington. But mostly it's Friday and Saturday and sometimes Sunday night. And then we have the weekends. So we were together Friday night, and then she had to go to China. And I thought to myself, she's going to China, and then she's going to Bangladesh and a couple of other places in 4 days.
Wow.
It's amazing the stamina she has. I used to have more stamina than she does. She does stuff that I don't think in my life I could ever do. Yeah. And she just very steadily works at it, tries to keep herself fit, and just keeps plugging away.
Yeah. She, and that impressed me the first time I met you, too. And she has that same thing where she gains energy from talking to people, and she's so focused and will stop and talk to every single person and is so... she's an incredible woman, and just...
Yeah, I'm really proud of her. And I think the one thing that she's been able to add to our kind of diplomatic arsenal is reminding people everywhere, first, that you have to include women and girls in every country's future, otherwise the country's never going to rise. And quite apart from whatever injustice she will do to people, it will limit the country. And secondly, she focuses on projects that actually help ordinary people. I know she's going over to China, and they're having all these negotiations in the back about the Chinese dissident and how he's going to get his health care and what's going to happen to him. And then they're having all these things they went to sign about trade and strategy. But over here, completely independently, she's doing stuff as Secretary of State like what I do with my foundation.
Yeah.
Rural China, people out there hungry, can't make a living, giving them cook stoves and other ways to try to make a living. Making a world with more partners and fewer enemies should be a part of every administration's foreign policy.
Yeah, yeah. Both of you are doing so much good. Both of you. All right. Now, I want to ask you some questions that, and you have to, first thing that comes to your mind, just a quick sentence of response to this. What's the one thing every day that you wish you could do, that you used to do every day, but you can't because of who you are?
Drive.
Drive, really? You're not allowed to drive?
No. I mean, if I want to give up Secret Service protection for life, I could do it.
Yeah, they'd leave you?
But, yeah.
Oh, I would miss that too. Can you drive like just in circles on your lawn?
That's why I always, whenever I'm on the golf course, I always make them let me drive the golf cart.
No wonder you play golf.
I miss that.
Yeah, I bet. I would miss that too. I want you to drive. I really do. You and I, we're going to go on a road trip, you and I.
I'd love that.
All right. We'll be back with President Bill Clinton.
Dresses were donated. The guy from Colombia sent him $1,300 for Saudi.
Wow. Amazing. She's doing, we're talking about Chelsea, even, you know, Chelsea's doing so much good work too. The whole family. You're just you're a wonderful, wonderful, good family. And I have a question that before we go on to, I have so many questions in so little time. But when they got bin Laden, and there was a photograph that was released, and there's a photograph of everyone in the Situation Room, and you see Hillary Clinton with her hand over her mouth, and I think they just showed it just now. How much time goes by before you find out that they got bin Laden? Did you find out pretty quickly, right away?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly when I was notified. But I'm pretty sure that I was notified by the White House, not the State Department, which is exactly the right thing. She never said a word to me about this.
Wow.
Which is exactly the right thing. We did when Hillary became Secretary of State. In general, if a former president asks for it on a daily basis, you can get a briefing from the CIA called the President's Daily Brief. You can get an attenuated version of that. And when she got named to that position, I said, look, I don't want any more briefings unless the President or the National Security Council, the White House people, want me to have it. Because I give too many talks, I do too much work, I never want to inadvertently say something that complicates their job. So I didn't know about it till they told me. Mm-hmm. She never said a word.
Wow. So then you called and said, I know, you can tell me now?
More or less.
Yeah. Amazing. You must have been what was your reaction when you heard that?
It was a long saga for me. It was deeply personally emotional because I'm a New Yorker. I knew people who died on 9/11.
Yeah.
And you know, Hillary was a senator then. Our daughter was in Lower Manhattan. Our daughter was one of the tens of thousands of people who was in, clear visibility of the World Trade Center and was told just to walk north and keep going, and we couldn't find her and didn't know what was going on. And so it was an emotional moment.
Wow. Wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing. You have continued to, obviously, your foundation, you just do so much good work. Is there one thing that you are the most proud of that you've done since you've left office?
Yeah, I guess, let me mention two because they're entirely different. My foundation has a lot of direct activities. Like we work on helping the world to deal with AIDS, TB, malaria, stopping the transmission of the HIV virus from mothers to children, and building healthcare systems in poor countries. And we work on helping farmers improve their incomes in really poor places in Latin America and Africa. But it all started with the AIDS work. And essentially what we did was to drastically cut the cost of producing and delivering AIDS medicine, so that now of the more or less 8 million people in poor countries that get this medicine to stay alive, about half of them get it off contracts negotiated through our foundation with guaranteed payment, including 75% of all the children on Earth that are being kept alive by this. So that's 4 million people. So I'm very proud of that. And I'm proud of it for another reason, because in doing that, we learned how to lower the cost of all the seed and fertilizer we give to farmers to increase their income. We learned how to negotiate in this alliance that's for a healthier generation we have to try to turn the tide on childhood obesity and diabetes among our young people, we negotiated with the major soft drink manufacturers in this country, completely voluntary, no tax, no rules, no nothing, an agreement to cut the caloric total of drinks being served to our kids in school by 88%.
Fantastic.
In 4 years. 88%.
Fantastic.
And they did it voluntarily.
Yes. All right, we'll take a break. Back with President Bill Clinton. We're back with President Bill Clinton. Let's talk. I have a gift for you, by the way, before you go. I want to give you a gift. But before, I would like you to talk about the global challenge, one thing that everyone can do to get involved.
If you go on my website and you take this global challenge, you get to choose. It'll say, what are you interested in? You pick something. Then it'll say, what do you want to know about it? You choose, you pick something. And it will lead you to something you can do. My whole theory about this is there's something everybody could do, no matter how much time they have or don't have, money they have or don't have, what they know in some specific area. And this will help you pick something that you'll find personally fulfilling.
Good, and that feels good to do.
Yeah.
Feels good to
Makes you happier. I do this stuff. I don't deserve any credit. I feel like I should be paying every day to do this. I'm having more fun than I've ever had in my life. It's fun.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's why. And from the first time I met you, I just have always, I say it again, I admire you. I just think you're so smart, and I just really love you. And so in my house, I have a portrait that I had painted of you. I'll show you. This is in my house right now. And I thought you should have one. I know you feel the same about me. Don't deny it.
Absolutely.
So I had one commissioned. Let's.
Thank you. I accept.
Yep, you're welcome.
And I'd vote for this character for anything.
All right, good.
I love this.
I want a paparazzi picture of you carrying that on your plane. I would like to see. I want to know you're bringing that home.
You're going to get it.
All right, good. Go to our website to find out more about the Clinton Foundation. Please, you can do something. Everyone, you can do something, and it feels really good. We'll be right back. President Bill Clinton. There's something important I have to do right now. I have a friend named Michelle, and she's out of town this week, and she had to leave her husband alone, and she wasn't sure how he was going to handle being alone. So she gave me a list of questions and asked me if I would check on him and see if he's doing these things. Let's see if he's there. Michelle's husband, are you there?
I am here.
Hi, Mr. President. Mr. President, Michelle said she's out of town, and she wanted to know, did you make your bed this morning?
That would be no.
No.
And, when she's out of town, things get a little slovenly around the house. Socks everywhere, shoes.
Have you eaten today, and are you taking care of yourself? Did you exercise?
I did exercise. I did eat. And I ate healthy, and I had some carrot sticks along with the potato chips.
Okay, good. It balances out. Okay, and you took your vitamins, and you're all set for dinner and all that, right?
I'm all set.
All right, good. Those are my questions that I had to ask. And should we take a break and come back with more questions?
I think so. I think that would be appropriate.
All right. We'll be back with the President of the United States. We're back with the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, who's joining us from the Ellen Blue Room at the White House. Mr. President, it has been a while since we've spoken. You look great. How are you?
I am doing great. You look wonderful also.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. You didn't have to just because I said you look good, but that was nice of you. And I don't know if you know this, but I was aiming to break your record of retweets, and I apologize for doing it, but I broke your retweet record.
I heard about that. I thought it was a pretty cheap stunt myself.
Yeah, right.
Getting a bunch of celebrities in the background.
That's the only thing I could. That's the only
You
thing
feeding them pizza.
Yeah. So the First Lady's in China. How is she doing?
You know, she hasn't landed yet, but the house is abandoned. I'm stuck with 2 dogs, and I'm expected to walk them and do what you do when you walk dogs.
Now,
But I think they're gonna have a wonderful time, though. They haven't been to China before, and the opportunity for them to talk to young people. You know, they've actually met with students here in the United States who've made these trips before, and helped brief them in terms of what they should see. And it's going to be a wonderful exchange, and hopefully, because of this trip, they may be able to invite some Chinese students back to the United States as well.
that's amazing. Your daughters how are they doing? I mean, they're growing up so fast. Every time I see a picture of them, and first of all, answer that question, please, and then I have a comment about the tattoo thing that you told them.
Well, they are doing wonderfully. You know, Malia, she turns 16 this summer, which is a little scary.
Wow.
And Sasha's going to be 13. And they're doing great in school, and they're smart, and they're funny, and they're kind, and you know, they're athletic, and so I really have no complaints, except for the fact that increasingly they don't have that much time for me. You know, I am not that interesting. They're nice about it, though, because they still love me, so they'll come in and they'll pat me on the head and kiss me, and they'll say, "Oh, Daddy, we love you so much," and they'll talk to me for about 5 minutes, and then they'll say, "We're going to be gone all weekend." And
They're very busy
you know,
girls.
so that's making me a little sad.
Well, and I bet. Let me mention this. I don't know if everyone heard this, but you made the most amazing comment about if they would ever get a tattoo, and I think everyone should stick to this rule. If your daughters got tattoos, that you and Michelle would also get the same tattoo in the same place, and you'd all take a family photo of all the tattoos.
That's exactly right.
That's fantastic.
We will reduce the cool factor of any tattoo.
Yeah.
Michelle and I will be right there, and we'll post it so that everybody will be able to see it, and we'll say, we all got matching tattoos.
Wow.
And I suspect that'll be a pretty good deterrent
Wow.
for both Malia and Sasha.
I hate to say it, but I hope they get tattoos. I really do. They could.
Ellen, you should be a part of this.
Yeah, no.
You should pledge to also get a tattoo with us.
Yeah, well, you know what? If that happens, I will. But other than that, I'm not into tattoos. I'm not going to do that. Let's also talk about, you went shopping. I don't know how you can do this, but you went to a mall and you shopped at a Gap recently because you were photographed, so I know it's true.
It happened.
It happened. You went to the Gap and you went shopping. How do you have time?
Well, here's the thing. We were on a trip to New York, and the Gap announced that they were going to make sure that all their employees at least got paid $10 an hour. So they're increasing their wages for tens of thousands of employees across the country. And since we've been saying that America deserves a raise and we should provide a minimum wage of at least $10.10 an hour, I thought it was great for me to be able to go frequent a store that's doing right by their employees.
Good for you.
And I thought that was really important.
Good for you. It's fantastic. And they sold a lot of those sweaters that you bought. I understand those sweaters that you bought sold out because everybody wanted to wear the same sweaters that your daughters are wearing.
Well, I thought they were pretty nice sweaters. Yep. And Malia and Sasha, they did not scowl when I brought them in, which was a good sign. Yeah. I mean, they didn't immediately say, "Ooh, that's terrible."
Well, you have a family of good taste.
I have not yet seen them wear them, but I'm hoping that I make the cut.
Well, I would like to see them wear them also. While I have you, I think it's only fair we should talk about Obamacare, and that rhymed.
Well, you know, we've got about 2 weeks left till March 31st for people to sign up. If you don't have health insurance right now, you should go on healthcare.gov, and especially all the moms out there who may have young people, 26, 27, don't have health insurance, but they think they're invincible and nothing's ever going to happen to them. You know, what we've said is you never know what life is going to throw at you. You can, at this point, get health insurance for $100 a month or less, in some cases less than your cell phone bill or your cable bill, and it gives you some financial security. It gives moms some mental security that their kids are going to have decent care. And you know, particularly at this moment when a lot of young people, as they come out and they're getting their first or second jobs, they don't necessarily get a benefit on the job. Now's the time to take a look at it. But the website is now working. Healthcare.gov actually works the way it's supposed to, and I hope that people take advantage, because if you don't sign up before March 31st, then you won't be able to sign up again until November. And I want to make sure that everybody has this opportunity now.
It's doing very, very well. I think it's surprised. It had a rough start, but you've got 5 million people that have signed up so far, which is an enormous amount of people that have signed up. So it's successful. And why is there a deadline? Why is there not just an open-ended because I think it is important for everyone to have health care, and a lot of people think, oh, I'll be fine, and like you said, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, if anybody who's gotten health insurance on the job, you know, you have this thing called an open enrollment period. Basically, the insurers, they're pricing for a year, and then they need to figure out how many people have signed up, what the risk pool looks like, how many elderly people are, how many healthy people, how many young people, and that's how they set prices for the following year. So they have to close the open enrollment period at the end of March 31st. They'll start back up, so you can sign back up in 2015 in November. But if you don't have health insurance right now, now's the time to check it out. And as I said, you know, people will be pleasantly surprised. I've got a lot of folks who write me letters saying, I didn't vote for you, and I'm pretty skeptical about Obamacare, and I heard about all the problems on the website, but when I actually signed up, it turns out that I'm saving $100, $200, or I'm getting health insurance for the first time. And so all I'm encouraging everybody to do is to take a look and see what options are right for you and your family. And moms out there, email your kids if they don't have health insurance and tell them to at least check it out, because they may be pleasantly surprised that it's much more affordable than people thought.
Well, people are starting to applaud here. I think that everyone's very grateful that you did this, and I think it is important for people to sign up and to it's just better to be covered. You just never know. And before we go, first of all, I appreciate your time, and I know you're busy, and it's the end of the day, and you've got to walk the dogs and do the laundry. But before we go, do you watch House of Cards? Do you watch Scandal? What are your thoughts on those shows?
You know, I watch House of Cards. I haven't seen Scandal yet, but Michelle has watched Scandal. I have to tell you, life in Washington is a little more boring than displayed on the screen.
I hope so.
Yeah. You know, the truth of the matter is, if you followed me, most of my day is sitting in a room listening to a bunch of folks in gray suits talking about a whole bunch of stuff that wouldn't make very good television.
No. Well, that's
Yeah.
what I do, and we make great television. That's what.
I have to tell you, though, Ellen, there is not much dancing in the Situation Room,
No?
as a general rule.
That's
No.
what's missing. That's what you have to do.
That's the problem.
All right. What about that Let's Move campaign? Make people dance in there. All right. Listen, thank you so much. You should watch Scandal. It's really, really good, and I'm glad to hear that.
That's what Michelle tells me.
It is. It's great. And I'm going to call Michelle and give her a good report. I'll tell her you're doing okay. It's always an honor and a pleasure when our next guest stops by. Please welcome the 42nd President of the United States of America and new grandpa, President Bill Clinton. Hello, Mr. President. How are you?
Good. I miss you. I'm glad to see you.
I know. I haven't seen you in a long time. I just think you're just so super terrific, and it's good to see you again.
Thank
and
you.
congratulations, you're a grandpa.
It's amazing. You know, Hillary and I only have one child, and she's quite wonderful, but it's been a long time since she was that age. And so the biggest hoot for me, my granddaughter turned 6 weeks on Friday, is, watching them wake up to the world. And for 3 weeks, kids can't see very much. So you got to hold them, talk to them, and all that. And then their vision goes from here, and it starts for 3 weeks to 3 months. It just gets out. And so she almost doesn't have time to laugh. She never cries. She just soaks things up. And I think, God, if my mind would work like that, I'd be so happy. She's just a sponge of taking everything in. It's a hoot.
Well, that must be the most wonderful thing, too. And then you can also go away. You don't have to take care of her full time. You're the grandpa, so you can get that part and then leave.
I don't mind that. I told Chelsea that she would never hear me repeat the bromide about being a grandparent's better than being a parent, because you get all the joys, none of the responsibilities. I like being a parent, too. But it's a great feeling. And, it's part of the rhythm of life. It helps you come to terms in a really positive way with, your own mortality and the way things go. It's just a joyful experience. I love it. I'm so happy.
Her name is Charlotte.
Her name is Charlotte.
And when Hillary is with her, is she presidential with her, or is she more grandmotherly?
She's doting, giddy, deliriously happy grandmother.
Who spoils her more?
We haven't had much spoiling time. We're both under. I told Hillary right when we were going to the hospital for Chelsea to give birth. I said, now we have to remember this is not our child, and we have to show up when we're invited and do what we're asked. But I suppose we'll have a chance to spoil her, but we haven't yet. She's too busy soaking things up. She only notices us as we give her something useful to do, like grab hold of our hands or something. The most interesting thing to me is kids instinctively work their hands, and they learn early that 90% of life is just hanging on. And the trick is not to forget it when you really need to remember that.
Good point. Good point. That's amazing. Yeah, she seems precious. But let's get to something very important. I gave you a picture of myself when you were here last, and I'm just wondering which room you hung it in.
Actually, you got a picture of it?
Yeah.
Show it.
Yeah, it's a portrait of you actually. Now you just hung that.
There it is. Yes.
No, you just hung that for the photo. It's not really in there. You just did it as a joke. Tell me the truth. It's not in there all the time.
It's not in there all the time.
All right.
I don't have enough. You need to give me a smaller picture and I'll have it all the time.
All right.
I don't have the wall space.
All right. I'll give you a smaller one. So can we talk about your amazing foundation and your library and everything good that you're doing? The foundation, first of all, for those of you who, I don't know if you don't know about it, you do so many good things. If you could say one thing you're most proud of with the foundation, what would it be?
That the Clinton Global Initiative has given a network of opportunity for other people to give and to bring their ideas. So I bring them together, and we've had 10 of them now, and we've raised about $90 billion worth of commitments, and we can document 430 million lives.
Wow.
In 180 countries that have been helped.
Wow.
But I'm also proud of the fact that our Health Access Initiative has provided contracts for 8.6 million people to stay alive with AIDS. We're 75% of all the kids on earth that gets this medicine get it through the contracts we negotiated. We're building healthcare systems in poor countries. We've got a great program in Rwanda, an interesting one in Zambia. We've worked in Ethiopia. If all the Ebola countries had healthcare systems that worked, all this hysteria would never have happened. The real problem is they don't have the systems we take for granted. Look what happened here. No, the only person who's died with Ebola in the United States was a Liberian citizen who was gravely ill when he got here. The 2 nurses who were not properly covered, who contracted it, have been released. They're Ebola-free. The doctor who got it serving, bless his heart, almost certainly will recover. We got to build these poor countries' systems so they don't need us anymore. If you look at Nigeria, they had an Ebola case. within 36 hours, 500 doctors went to, I think, 19,000 homes, and they contained it, and it was over. And Liberia has 4.1 million people, a country founded by freed American slaves. So we have a special responsibility there, I think. They had 53 doctors when the Ebola epidemic broke out for 4.1 million people.
Wow.
So I love that. I love what we're doing there, and I love what we're doing here.
You do so much. It's amazing when I think about how busy you are, and still you have time, I understand, to watch TV, which is amazing to me because...
I do. Well, you know, I had a wife with a traveling job for a while, so I was home alone a lot.
So you're watching Scandal?
I do watch it some. I love anything Shonda Rhimes does.
Isn't she amazing?
Yeah, I
She's
still
a
watch
brilliant
Grey's
woman.
Anatomy. I'm a devoted
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy fan.
Yeah.
And I like this, How to Get Away with Murder.
Uh-huh.
I like Scandal. I like House of Cards. Kevin Spacey's a very close friend of mine.
House of Cards.
But, you know, I really like Kerry Washington, and her husband, Nnamdi Asomugha, is a good close friend of ours and a friend of the foundation and a remarkable human being. But the thing about Scandal and House of Cards that makes it fun to watch is that I can't imagine that either a President Spacey or the President's Chief of Staff on Scandal could really get away with murder. I wish I'd known about that when I was in office. I mean, there were, you know, think of all the opportunities
So
I
many
missed.
people to get rid of.
So little time, so many people that have it coming. You
He's
know, it's
so
just-
easy.
Yeah, crazy.
That's the only thing that's ridiculous about that show. I can't imagine. He's drinking all the time, and he's always pouring small amounts, but the president is always drinking during the night. I'm like, how is he not asleep right now? We have to take a break, and when we come back, you have big news about Hillary Clinton, which you don't want to miss. We are back with President Bill Clinton, and I understand you want to make a big announcement about your wife today.
She's the happiest grandmother in the world. No, we were talking. I do want to say something seriously, but I don't know what Hillary's going to do. That's the truth. If I did, I wouldn't tell you, but I don't know. But all this looks different when we've been so blessed. You know, we've had a wonderful life. We've had a chance to serve. Whatever she wants to do, I'm for. She's the ablest public servant I ever worked with, but I'm more interested now that I have a granddaughter than I ever have been in this project she and Chelsea started at our foundation called Too Small to Fail. Because in general, if nothing changes in America, when my granddaughter goes to kindergarten, she will have heard 30 million more words than the child of a working mother who works for modest earnings, gets up at 5:30 every day, takes her kid to daycare, and it's all she can say grace over to pay the rent, the utilities, and put clothes on her kids' back and food on the table. So this is really a big deal. I want to urge you all, we've got to convince parents everywhere and help them to read to their children, to talk to their children, and we ought to have more universal access to preschool because it really affects what these kids can learn and how quickly and well they can learn when they get in school. It's one simple, not very expensive thing that we ought to get bipartisan agreement on, and we just ought to do in America because we know now what a difference it makes to our kids.
It does, for them to have access to so much stimulation. Well, all right, so you're not going to tell us if Hillary is going to run or not, but I'm just saying if you only had one, if you could only pick one, because I can't afford to give you both.
Well, if I picked that one, it would be best for the country. However, if I did that, then Hillary would start taking me up to total strangers and saying, "Have you met my first husband?" Because it's not a decision for me to make. If I picked that one, she would be happy as a clam, and so would I. So keep them both and give her the right one when
I'll
she
give
decides.
Either way, you're going to be the first husband if you take this, because you understand that, right?
Yeah.
You'd be the first husband.
Yeah, I'll tell you, since I'm always campaigning for the parties to get together and agree on something, President Bush, 43, who became a grandfather just a few weeks before I did, told me something on which there was complete agreement. He said, the most important thing you have to remember when you become a grandfather is that you immediately fall to last place on the family hierarchy.
Well, I'm going to give you both. And also, should she go out on the campaign trail, I assume Chelsea's going to go with her. And that means Charlotte's going to go. So we want her to travel in style. So Charlotte has her own little...
Oh, my God.
The first baby.
That's too cool.
That's great. All right, so we'll hold this up.
And it's a made in America car. Let's get that clear.
Yeah.
Very important since the auto industry's coming back that you're contributing to it.
Well, let's see what happens, and I guess we'll find out when we find out. Go to our website to learn more about the Clinton Foundation, what you can do to help. I urge you to go. There's so much good that comes from that. We'll be back after this. I hear I have a little birthday greeting from a friend, a surprise. Happy birthday, dear Ellen. Oprah, thank you so much. What's happening?
The whole song, can't, don't make me.
I'm not gonna do it. Vice President Biden. Oh, thank you. Will you sit down?
Hey, folks. How are you, kid?
Hi. Well,
Thank you.
how are you?
I'm well.
Thank you very much for being here. Well, what a surprise this is. And I just saw you the other night on the State of Union speech. And how many times do you think you stood up during that? How many times do people have to stand up?
Probably not enough.
I mean,
I don't have any idea.
it's exhausting that you just settle down and
Well,
then
you know, it's exhausting, but the thing I loved about his speech, he started talking about what we value, the things you've heard me talk about for years. I just think, it's good stuff.
I do too.
By the way, you know what my wife said to me?
What did
my
you-
wife said to me, Joe, I said, Jill, I sit back there and I'm, listening and I help write the ideas in the speech. I know it all. And I said, I got to pay attention. She said, welcome to the club. I said, what do you mean? She said, welcome to the Good Wife's Club. She said, how many times have I sat and listened to you make a speech and pretend to be interested in looking? So, I'm a member of the Good Wife's Club.
Oh, she's fantastic. I love your wife.
She is.
And Valentine's Day is coming up. What are you and Jill going to do for Valentine's Day?
A lot, and I'm not going to tell you.
No, really? I don't want to know everything.
Sorry, guys.
But seriously, you must be here for another reason besides my birthday. What are you in Los Angeles for?
Well, now that you asked me, it's your birthday, but beyond being your birthday, you've been a real booster of the Affordable Care Act and getting people to sign up. And you have an incredible audience, a lot of young people, and you have an awful lot of...
I have an incredible audience.
No, I mean it. And Ellen, you have a lot of moms home listening. And, there's... what happens is a lot of you who are below 25, you can still be in your parents' policy. But once you hit 26, your parents can't cover you anymore. And all of you think you're invincible, that nothing's going to happen. So you say, why do I need health insurance? And so I want every mom out there to tell their adult child between the ages of 26 and 35, sign up for no other reason than give mom peace of mind. You know what I mean? All kidding aside, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. And Ellen, I'm just here to ask you, and you, because you've been a supporter, and
you think it's important to tell your audience the most appropriate audience I can speak to, because they're young and home with their moms. And I want you to, there's 4 ways you can sign up. May I do this?
Yes.
Deadline's February 15th. You can go online to healthcare.gov. It's easy. It's finally working, the website. 2, if you want to talk to somebody, you need some help, you dial 1-800-318-2596 24/7, and someone will walk you through it. This is changing the way people are able to live and their peace of mind. So please, get people.
And we will put it on the website. So if you didn't get all that, we'll put it on our website. And where are you going? What's happening?
By the way, I got a gift for you.
Where did that come from? What's happening around here?
I got a real gift. But first of all, my mom used to have an expression. She said, Joey, on a child's birthday, the mother should get the gift because she did all the work. So this is for your mom.
Oh, she's going to love that. Thank you.
And you talked about watching the State of the Union, watching me stand up. Now, next year when you watch it, I want you to be able to be comfortable.
Okay.
I bought you a bathrobe with the White House seal on it.
Well,
And a gift to Ellen from Joe, so you're comfortable.
I'm putting it on right now.
Pretty good? You're the best.
Thank you so much.
You're the best.
Vice President Joe Biden, everybody. We'll be right back. Our next guest could be the first woman to be elected president of the United States. Please welcome Hillary Clinton. Thank you for being here. And I have so many things to ask you about and talk to you about. The first thing that I think we should discuss is Kanye running for president. And how do you feel about that?
Well, I heard him make the announcement.
Right.
And he said he wanted to run in 2020.
Yes.
I would only ask him, if I'm running for re-election, to wait.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
But otherwise, a lot of people want to run for president these days.
It seems like a lot of people do want to run. I don't understand it
Well,
myself.
and I saw you in the debate. You were great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, let's just get this out of the way. Let's talk about the emails.
Okay.
Okay. What?
What? Well, I want people to understand this, so I'm glad you asked. I used a personal email account. It was allowed by the State Department, but I should have used 2 different accounts. I made a mistake, and I'm sorry for all the confusion that has ensued. I take responsibility for that. But I'm now trying to be as transparent as not just I can, but anybody ever has been. So 55,000 pages have been turned over to be released, and then we've got the server, and then we've got me testifying before Congress. So I'm just, I'm going to keep talking about it and answering questions.
Well, I mean, I actually don't think you need to. It's just that people keep bringing it up. They have
do.
not found a thing. They keep
Right.
saying they found something, but then we don't hear anything
No.
about it, so they haven't found anything. I personally think that women, I know you're not going to say this because you believe that there should not be a difference between women's rights and human rights,
Right.
and I love that you say that because it should just be human rights.
That's right. That's right.
But I will say that I personally believe that women are held to a different standard than men. We are held to a different standard for our weight, for our age, for our looks,
Yep.
for everything.
Yep.
And which is not fair because you are the smartest, most qualified person for this job. If I'm looking for someone who's qualified, if I want to hire a plumber, I want someone who has snaked a drain before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. I've snaked a few.
I want someone who is qualified, and I feel like when you're talking about, if I look at all the other candidates,
Right.
someone who is for rights across the board, equal rights for women, equal rights for every ethnicity, equal rights for everyone, it is the only person I can look at is you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ellen. Well, first of all, I think it's just a reality that we're held to a higher, different, double standard. And it gets a little old, to be honest, but you just forge ahead. Don't let all these wonderful, beautiful young women who are here, don't get discouraged. Don't give in. Don't give up. Don't quit on yourself, on your dream, on your future. And I actually think, look, I'm not asking people to vote for me because I'm a woman, but I think If you vote for somebody on the merits, one of my merits is I'm a woman, and I think that makes a big difference in today's world.
But I do, and I think that a lot of women, we're so conditioned for so long to be less than, to be, and I just want to read a couple of things that, because I was looking at this and it's just unbelievable to me. It wasn't until 1920 when the 19th Amendment passed that women were allowed to vote. 1920, we couldn't vote until then. Women weren't allowed to serve in the military until 1948, not allowed into combat until 2013. It wasn't until 1973 that a woman could serve on juries. A woman could not have her own credit card until 1974.
Can I tell you about that? This is hard to believe, but there was a law passed so that if you were married or you were a single woman, you would be legally entitled to a credit card. So I applied for a credit card. I was married. This was probably like 1976, 77. And I got a letter back saying that I could not apply for my own credit card. I would have to use my husband's. And so this is not like ancient history.
No.
And I was making more money than he was. And I actually was ready to have my own credit card.
We have to take a break, but I want to say I am not a political person. I don't like politics. I don't understand politics. What I am is a human being who wants everyone to have equal rights.
Right.
And I hate the us and them. I don't like that someone is a Republican, so they're bad. They're a Democrat, so they're bad. I want inclusive. I don't want exclusive. I want everyone to get along. I want everyone to want a common goal of a better country and to not piss off any more countries. I want us all to be loved.
Yeah.
I want us to be happy.
Yeah. The happiness
Peace.
agenda.
I want happiness and I want peace across the world. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we will have world peace. We're back with Hillary Clinton, and we're talking about Twitch and how fantastic Twitch is during the... Oh, no. Amy,
Let's go, girls!
Amy, no.
What?
No skating at all, not even rollers.
No skating.
Hillary Clinton is here. What are you
Wait,
doing?
so we're not skating at
No,
all?
we're not skating at all. It's not just ice skating.
You just
We're
said no
doing it-
ice skating. You should have been more specific about that, Ellen. I think you know that. So we're not skating, no
We're not
matter what?
skating. No skating.
Okay, what about you, Hill? You want to go skating? What about you?
I'd love to. Do you have an extra pair?
Yeah. Okay, Hill, I'll be back for you later. Bye, guys.
She doesn't listen. She does
I also
not.
love the fact that she's going after gun violence.
Yeah, well,
I
I
really
mean, that
wanna
was
thank
what
her for doing
happened in the theater watching her movie. It was,
Yeah.
so good for her.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the fact that you're a grandmother. You have a granddaughter. How
I
old is
do.
Charlotte now?
Yes, she is. She's going to be 1 year old on September 26th.
That's a cute age.
Yeah. On my way here, I stopped by just to see her so that I could kind of catch a glimpse. You know, it changes so fast. There she is when she's like just born. But now she's doing all kinds of interesting and exciting
What does she
things.
call you?
She doesn't call me anything yet because she doesn't have that many words yet.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
shame.
she's got a couple of words. I'm waiting to see what she wants to call me. If I like it, I'll say, yeah, that's a good one. If I don't, then I'm going to have to work on what else can she call me.
Well, can't you guide her into what would you like to be called?
Well, you know, I'm fine with Grandma. I'm fine with Madam President. I mean, whatever strikes you. Fancy.
It's a mouthful for a child. That would be great if those are her first words is Madam President.
Yeah. Well,
Do you sing? Do you read to her?
I am singing to her just like I sang to my daughter. I sang to my daughter until she was about 18 months old, and with our little ritual, I'm singing to her before I
What
put her
would you
to bed.
sing? What was the song?
Oh, I sang all kinds of things, you know, old favorites. I think at that time I was singing Moon River because we were looking out the window, we were looking at the moon, and she reached her little finger up, she goes, no sing, Mommy, no sing.
Oh.
She finally developed an ear. So I figure I've got about another, 8 months or 6 or 7 with Charlotte. to
Before
keep
she
singing.
says no sing,
No
Madam
sing,
President?
Mommy. Yeah, exactly.
That's a shame. So the one thing that people are saying also, because I want to give you a chance to talk about things that are important to you that you want to discuss, but they're saying that if you were elected, you would be one of the oldest presidents elected, which does that matter? Don't we want experience more than anything? Isn't that important?
Well, I think it's very important, but the way I look at it is I would be the youngest woman ever elected
Yes,
president
that
of
is-
the United States.
And do you watch, like there's another Republican debate coming up. Do you watch them? Do you listen to what they're saying? And what do you care when you get attacked? Those are all my questions.
Yes, well, I may not be able to watch it in real time, but I will get around to being able to watch it. And I find, well, I'll just say I find it sort of sad. I find that the last debate, it just showed that, to me anyway, they were out of touch and out of date. A lot of the things that they said were really, I thought, unnecessary, and the way they talked about people, and hoping that it'll sort of settle down to become a more serious discussion about what they're actually going to do for the country, and not just throw out ideas and never put any real backing behind them. So I'm waiting and hoping that that's going to be the next phase, maybe in this next debate.
I am so happy you're here, and we're going to take a break, and I hate to do this, but I am putting you in the hot seat. I have someone coming out who is going to talk to you and ask questions that I cannot control. All right? We'll be right back with Hillary Clinton. All right, I don't know a lot about politics and presidents, so we thought we would bring out someone who could ask the tough questions. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Please welcome our favorite 5-year-old presidential expert, Macy Henley. Said your name, they know who you are. Do you get recognized a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah? So Macy is a presidential expert. She knows, so you can ask her about any president if you want to quiz her.
Well, Macy, tell me some things about Woodrow Wilson.
He gave the women the right to vote, and he let sheep graze on the White House lawn, not only to mow it, to make wool coats for the soldiers.
That was a great idea.
She knows just about anything. How about, what about first ladies? What about James Buchanan's first lady?
He didn't have a first lady because he was never married. So his niece, Harriet Lane, was his first lady.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that. Do you know much about the Clintons? What can you tell us about the Clintons? This is your cue card. Let me just show people because you can't read yet, right?
Yeah.
But so this is her cue card. All right.
I heard that you like Tabasco sauce on everything, including your salad.
I eat a lot of Tabasco sauce and other hot sauce. You are absolutely right about that.
My dad likes hot sauce.
Does he?
Uh-huh.
Well, he and I have something in common.
Yeah. I heard you haven't drove a car in like 20 years.
You know what? It's not quite that long, but pretty close. Yeah, I know, because the Secret Service.
Yeah.
But I used to love to drive a car.
Yeah. Okay. I like to read Amelia Bedelia. Do you like to read books to your new granddaughter?
I do, and I love Amelia Bedelia, too. And I think that's a really good choice.
Yeah.
I heard that you like to read about and you hope to visit all of the presidential libraries.
Yes.
And so I thought I would bring you a T-shirt from the Clinton Presidential Library, which is in Little Rock, Arkansas, not far from where you live.
Thank
Isn't that fantastic? Hey, Macy, do you think that you would ever want to run for president?
Yes.
Yes. I think you should. I think you're a smart, smart young lady. You know a lot. And I have something for you. Should you decide to run, you're going to need this. Right?
Oh, Macy, look at that.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Do you like it?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, we are going to take another break, and we'll be back right after this. The Democratic presidential debate was a couple of nights ago, and a lot of people say our first guest had the best moment of the night when he said this.
Let me say something that may not be great politics, but I think the secretary is right. And that is that the American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too. Me too.
Enough of the emails. Let's talk about the real issues facing America.
Please welcome Senator Bernie Sanders. Oh, you came out here dancing, Bernie. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. Thanks for being here.
And thank you for the very positive energy you provide to the American people.
Thank you so much for saying that. You seem to start out as an underdog, and all of a sudden, everyone is talking about you. And first of all, it must feel amazing because it happened pretty quickly.
Yes.
And what was the moment that all of a sudden you realized, oh, this is going very well?
We went to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we, in a pretty short time period, said we wanted to do a rally. And we thought we have, a few hundred people coming out. We had to change the venue. We thought we'd have a few thousand people coming out. We walked in, we came in, drove by, and there were these long lines of people. And I said to the guy who was with me, what's going on? What kind of ball game going on here? What are all these people lining up to see? Well, it turns out they were at our rally. I think we had 7,000 or 8,000 people. And that gave me a clue that the message we were bringing forth was resonating with the American people.
Yeah, a lot of people like you, a lot. A lot of people are talking about you and like you a whole lot. And I'll tell you, I think what you said about Hillary and the emails, you said this may not be political. And I think that's the exact thing that people are sick of, is people being political. I think people just need to hear you say what you feel.
I think that's absolutely
Yeah.
right. And I think, Ellen, you hit the nail on the head. And I will tell you, I have been in many, many campaigns in my political life, and I'm very proud to say I have never run a negative political ad in my entire life, and I've been attacked a whole lot.
Yeah, and I love that about you, because I don't think, and it was mentioned during the debate, that the Republican debates would not have gone this way. There's a lot of attacking, a lot of bullying, and I love the fact that it was very positive.
Look, here is the story. This country today faces enormous challenges. There's no ifs and buts about it. Our middle class is disappearing. We have more income and wealth inequality than any other major country on earth. The highest rate of childhood poverty. Our infrastructure is collapsing. We are the only major country on earth that doesn't provide family and medical leave. The only major country that doesn't provide health care at all. Those are the issues that we should be talking about.
Yes.
And I get sick and tired of people doing nothing else but attacking people for all kinds of crazy reasons. So we need to have serious conversations in this country about the real issues facing us.
Well, I think, yes. It seems, and I agree with you that it's a crazy divide between the extreme wealth and the poverty, and the fact that there are children going to sleep at night without eating. I'll be honest with you, I had a really good year last year. I made over $100,000. So I pay 50% taxes, right?
Federal, state, local?
Everything.
Yeah.
So I pay a lot of money, and a lot of people that have a lot of money pay a lot of money. So why isn't that amount of money going to the people that don't make the amount of money? Why is it not allocated in the ways that you're saying?
Well, that's a good question, and some of that has to do that we're spending money in areas that we should not be spending money, and we're not spending money in areas that we should be spending money. But let me also say this, and as a nation, and we should all think about why this is so. We are living in a country today, Ellen, where the top 0.1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. We're living in a country where 58% of all new income created in this country is going to the top 1%. So the vast majority of our people are working longer hours for lower wages, and the people on top are doing phenomenally well. We have situations where major corporations are making billions of dollars a year in profits, and in a given year are paying zero in federal income tax.
But if you, let's say you get into the White House, let's say you're president, and Obama has been up against the same thing. Everyone shuts you down. You have all these ideas, and I think everyone here agrees that everyone should have affordable health care. Everyone should have affordable health care.
Well, let me say that not everybody does agree. That is not what Republicans say. I mean, let's be honest about that. So, I mean, I think most decent people, and I would say the vast majority of the people, but not all people who have the money, in fact, do not believe that.
Okay, well, I believe that, and I would hope that most people believe that. And I think that there are so many ways also that we're ignoring the food industry, that we know we're getting sick from certain things that we shouldn't be eating.
Absolutely.
There are certain ways that we should be living that would be much healthier as a nation. Climate change, everything that's happening needs to, but you're going to get, if you get in there, how do you make this happen? Because everyone's going to want to stop that.
We have got to come together. We have got to get involved in the political process. We have got to stand up and fight back and make certain that the United States government starts representing all of us and not just a handful of billionaires.
Yep. I think, I don't understand how we can have that extreme wealth and have, and how the middle class is disappearing. I grew up very lower middle class, very. And I had no money. I didn't have connections to get into I worked really hard for 25 years, and I've earned my money by working really, really hard, coming from middle class. I think that people should be able to earn money and to keep their money and still help everybody else that are less fortunate. But I don't know why the middle class is disappearing, and I don't know why. I understand you're saying there's loopholes, but there should be enough money that helps everybody down.
And let me give you my opinion, and others will disagree. What we're up against is, you would think that if one was making billions of dollars, that might be enough to take care of your family and your kids, right? And your grandchildren. But you have, in corporate America today, you have incredible greed. I don't know when they think enough is enough, they want more and more and more. So you have multi-billionaires right now contributing money to candidates, and what these candidates are doing at the behest of the billionaires is say, let's cut Social Security. You talk about health care for all. They want to throw millions of people off of health care and repeal the Affordable Care Act. They want to cut nutrition programs at a time when millions of families are struggling to put food on the table. They want to cut nutrition programs for pregnant women and little babies. Now, I can't explain to you the mentality of somebody who wants to do that, especially people who have so much money. Why? But that's the kind of greed mentality that we're fighting.
I don't understand it either. And all of these people, I assume, have children and grandchildren. And you talk about not only nutrition, but again, climate change. And we need to think about the future for our kids. And I don't understand that mentality either. We're going to take a break because we're running long, but I could talk to you for a long time. You are such a unique guy, and I think that's why people are responding to you.
Thank you very much.
That was an awkward, like Trump-like hand. What is that? That was so awkward. What happened to us there? Here, let's do. Give me a high five.
All right.
But I think that's why people are responding to you, because you're not like the politicians that people are used to hearing, and you are saying things that is resonating to a lot of people. So we're going to take a break. Then I'm going to put you in the hot seat. All right?
Okay.
All right, we'll be back. We're back with Senator Bernie Sanders, and you get a lot of attention for your appearance, that you look different than the other candidates. Most people look like politicians and have a certain kind of hair, certain kind of, and people.
I have certain type.
You do
of
have
hair.
a certain kind of hair, but for some reason they're commenting on your hair. And Portia has hair. Portia has hair like yours sometimes, and I actually think that y'all look very similar. So everyone's hair can do that when it's windy. You don't talk about yourself that much, and so I thought I would ask you some rather personal questions. And it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so for each question you answer, I think honestly, I'm going to be the judge of this, or correctly, we'll donate $1,000 to Ulta for breast cancer research. Okay? All right. Let me see where they are. And, okay, well, if you had to pick a Republican presidential candidate to be stuck on a deserted island with, who would it be?
Marco Rubio, he's used to the sun.
All right, all right. Good answer. You're from Burlington, Vermont, and so is Ben & Jerry's. If you were a flavor of Ben & Jerry's, what would you be called?
Burn, Bernie, burn.
So it would be hot and spicy ice cream?
That's right.
Okay. I've never been burned by ice cream before. It would be interesting. Have you ever been in handcuffs?
Yes. I don't know exactly what you mean by that.
All right. Look,
But
that's all right. That's all right.
was-
Leave it.
I take it to
Like,
mean, was I ever arrested by the police?
Well, no, not necessarily.
When I was when I was young, yes, I
All
was
right.
involved in a civil rights demonstration, and I was arrested.
All right, let's call it a civil rights demonstration. Who has better hair, you or Donald Trump?
Oh, that goes without saying.
Yeah. I agree. Who's your favorite member of One Direction?
Did I see Harry? Is that-
Yeah.
Oh, I think maybe Harry.
Harry? All right, yeah. If you were at a karaoke bar and you had to pick one song to sing, what would it be?
It would be from Saturday Night Fever. It would be, I can't remember the name of that song.
How's it go?
You know how it goes.
There's a-
John Travolta walking down the street. That's how
Staying
it goes.
alive? Staying
Yes, that's
alive.
right. Staying
Yeah.
alive.
All right,
That's
all right. Great. All right. Boxers or briefs?
Briefs.
Interesting. What is your favorite swear word?
Can't say it.
All right. Name a celebrity your wife has a crush on.
There she is. I don't know.
Do you want to answer?
No.
All right. What do you do to relax?
I have 7 beautiful grandchildren, and they are the joy of my life, and I relax when I'm around them.
Wonderful. All right. One last question. Last question. What did you want to be when you were a kid?
Social worker.
A social worker. Really interesting. All right. Well, you are fantastic. Thank you for being here. And $10,000 for. Oh, hold on. So $10,000 goes to breast cancer research. You are always campaigning. I think when our producer was on the phone with you, you had to hurry up and hang up the phone because you had to campaign. So you're always everywhere trying to campaign. So I got you something to help you no matter where you are. So here's how it goes. Robbie will set it up for you. All you have to do is bring this briefcase out, pull it up. So you just carry that around. You're ready to go. You can stand behind it. You can campaign.
All right.
All right. So that's for you. We'll be right back. Bernie
Thank
Sanders.
you.